sorry, Paulson. My name Jose Jimenez. If the next half hour looks like World War II, don't get upset. You see what happened is Mr. Glick, the house detective, went out, well, you'll see what happens.
The Bill Dana Show, starring Bill Dana as Jose Jimenez. Also starring Jonathan Harris and Don Adams.
Boy, this is the screwiest delivery I ever made. What does a hotel want with all this war surplus material?
Who knows? Maybe they're going to fight it out with the Hilton gang.
What's in the tank?
Nitrous oxide.
Nitrous
Yeah,
oxide?
you know, laughing gas.
Ain't that what Dennis used once in a while?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't get it. What do they need laughing gas in a hotel for?
Maybe they're going to give them a whiff when they pay their bill.
Boy, this is one for the books, ain't it?
Yeah.
What kind of a nut ordered this stuff? Hi, fellas! Well, is everything here I ordered?
Oh, so you're the one.
Yes, Byron L. Glick, hotel security officer.
Boy, this must be some insecure hotel.
Never mind the cracks, fella.
Okay. Who's going to pay this bill?
Here, I'll sign for it. I'll just take this upstairs to the cashier, and she'll pay you.
All righty.
Mr. Glick, what in the world is all this? Gas mask and helmet. Bayonet. What is all this?
Just a few things I picked up at the war surplus store.
Looks like you picked up a surplus war.
Jose, do you realize that I picked up all this equipment for only $300? Now, is that a bargain or isn't it?
I could say so. If World War II ever comes back, we can hold it right here.
This equipment is all necessary for the security and protection of the hotel. Now, this is a parachute.
Could I ask you a question? What do you need a parachute for in a hotel?
What do you need a parachute for in a hotel? Yes. Well, sometimes some of our guests are late for appointments. You know how slow our elevators are.
What if the parachute doesn't open?
Yes. Well, they'll be a few minutes early.
Mr. Phil is going to be just tickled to death that you got all this stuff for the hotel. Oh, hon, that was thoughtful of you. You got something for Mrs. Phillips, too.
Mrs. Phillips?
Mm-hmm. Earrings.
Oh, say, these aren't earrings. That's a hand grenade. These things are very dangerous. You pull this pin and it goes pow.
You pull the pin and it goes pow?
Yes. Boy, this is really going to come in handy someday.
How will that come in handy?
Well, say a burglar has just held up the hotel.
A burglar was just held at the hotel.
Now he's making his way through the hotel lobby. See? Naturally, I can't shoot at him with my gun.
Why not?
Because too many innocent bystanders might get hurt. So, he's making his way through the hotel lobby. I yell at him to stop. He doesn't stop.
No.
People scatter in all different directions. Finally, he reaches the revolving doors. And with one well-placed grenade, I nail him. Like this.
Mr. Glick, you pull the pin, ain't it gonna pow?
Well, naturally, Jose. That's the way a hand grenade works. You pull the pin, and in about 10 seconds... Why, those dirty gyps, they sold me a dud.
A $300 bill for war surplus material? Who authorized you to pay it? Mr. Glick? I see. Well, thank you. I'll look into it. Now, where were we, Mr. Bennington?
Well, is this about a $300 bill for war surplus material?
Oh, it's nothing to concern yourself about, sir. Now, this budget that we were discussing.
I'm the chairman of the board of this hotel. I'm interested in all expenditures made by the hotel. Why are you buying war surplus material?
War surplus material. Well, you see, sir, I don't know.
You don't know? Well, you're the manager of this hotel. It's your business to know. I suggest you get to the bottom of this immediately.
Yes, sir, immediately.
We'll continue our conversation a little later.
As you wish, sir. Glicked again. Tell Mr. Glick to come to my office at once and tell him to bring whatever he bought with him.
Look at this Navy blinker light, Mr. Phillips.
Please, Mr. Glick.
Oh, Mr. Glick. What should I do with a flamethrower?
Let's see. Just put it over there, Jose.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Is there anything else downstairs?
Let's see, there's the pirate shoes, there's the bazookin, the tank.
A tank?
Oh, not the kind with wheels. It's the kind they use for chemistry warfare.
Well, Mr. Phillips, what do you think of my purchases?
Mr. Glick, you are an unmitigated, unbelievable nincompoop.
Well, thank you, Mr. Phillips. It wasn't easy to get all this stuff for $300. I had to really work a good shrewd...
Silence! Just tell me one thing, Mr. Glick. Why, in the name of heaven, did you buy all of this war material?
He bought it for the defensing of the hotel.
The defensing of the hotel. And what are we defensing it from? An invasion from Mars?
If they come, we're ready.
Don't!
Mr. Phillips, in my professional opinion, these items are all practical and necessary for the security of the hotel. Now, take this little item here. This should prove indispensable. A walkie-talkie.
Why on earth would we need a walkie-talkie?
Because when you go walking, you can talk.
Please, Jose. Mr. Phillips, this thing could come in very handy in case of a situation mayday.
Situation Mayday?
Yes, sir. During the war, that was the emergency call in case of a disaster. Just pick up one of these things and say, Mayday, Mayday!
Mayday indeed. Never in my experience have I seen such a conglomeration of useless junk.
Junk! Now, just a minute, Mr. Phillips. Everything in this room can be put to good use.
Can it indeed? Would you mind explaining that?
That? Yes. The 50 yards of barbed wire. Well, I can explain that, Mr. Phillips.
You can?
Yes, of course I can. Yes. Well, you see, we line the fire escapes with barbed wire. And if any of the guests try to sneak out without paying their bill, they get cut to pieces.
And while they're hanging there, we can blast them with the rifles.
Say, that's not a bad idea.
Couldn't we give him a chance to come up with the money first?
Be quiet, you ninny!
Now, Mr. Phillips, I don't want you to think I'm out of line. I got a lot of very practical things here. Now, take this little item, for instance. 12 dozen pair of captured Japanese handcuffs. And I want to tell you, Mr. Phillips, these bracelets work like a charm. I only paid 18 cents each for them.
They're probably defective.
Oh, no, Mr. Phillips. They work beautifully. Look how smooth
What are
they
you
go
doing?
on. Now watch
What
this.
are you doing?
Now, try and break away. See, you can't break away.
You see that? They do work.
Get this confounded thing off my wrist!
But don't get panicky, Mr. Phillips. Get the key, Jose, the key. I'll have them off you in a jiffy.
You better hide, Mr. Glick.
Yes, I will. The key, Jose.
The Glick, they didn't capture the keys.
Don't be silly, Jose. Those keys have got to be in one of these cartons.
You don't know where the key is?
Well, don't worry, Mr. Phillips. If the key is here, I'll find it.
If it's here, you'd better find it, Mr. Glick, and fast.
Yes, well, I have to go along with you on that. I have a plan, Mr. Phillips. You look in those cartons over there, and I'll look in those cartons over there. I have an alternate plan. Why don't we look in these cartons together, see? And Jose can look in one of the other cartons.
You'd better find the key, Mr. Glick, or off comes your head down to the knees.
I'll find it.
Machine gun bullet. Did you hold those? Oh, Mr. Bennington.
What is this?
Those are machine gun bullets. Don't talk. Don't drop them, they might go off.
Yes, take those bullets away from Mr. Bennington.
Mr. Billy doesn't want you to play with the bullets.
Mr. Bennington, I don't know what to say.
Just tell me who is responsible for this arsenal.
He is.
Nice of you to give me the credit, Mr. Phillips, but, well, I couldn't have done it by myself. After all, you're the manager.
Quiet, you insipid dope. Miss Bennington, I can explain all this.
Well, before you explain this, explain that. Why is he handcuffed to you?
Well, you see...
I can explain that, Mr. Phillips. It's very simple, Mr. Bennington. You see, Mr. Glick got these captured Japanese charm bracelets, you see, and they turned out to be handcuffs. And they only cost 18 cents a piece. So Mr. Phillips thought they didn't work. So he showed them how they work. He put one on his left hand like that, you see, just like that. And then he put the other side on his own wrist like that. And a couple of seconds later, they were handcuffed together like that. Also like this. I think I did something wrong.
Take these off of me this instant.
We didn't jump to the keys.
What kind of a hotel are you running? Where do you find these employees?
Please don't upset yourself.
Upset myself? I've asked you a very simple question.
You give me
I demand an answer, and I'm on the right...
Hold it! Gentlemen, let's not lose our heads. Let's try and remain calm. After all, we're executives. The solution is very simple. All we have to do is to find the keys in one of these cartons and take the handcuffs off. Now, you look on that side of the room, and we'll look on this side of the room. Now, be careful. There are landmines around here somewhere.
What is that?
Oh, that's a smoke pot. Be careful with that, Jose.
Okay.
Maybe it's in this package.
Have I been subjected to such indignities? Oh, give me that. What kind of people do you employ here?
Well, you know how it is, sir. Help is so hard to find.
Oh, I agree. You must have found those two from another planet. I want them discharged immediately, do you hear? Immediately.
Yes, sir, it'll be done.
I want them out of this hotel, out of the city, and if possible, out of the country.
Yes, sir. Get me the basement. Do try to calm yourself, Mr. Bennington. Why don't you just sit here and relax?
I think those two lunatics were trying to
yes,
kill
sir,
me.
please. What is it? What is it?
Now, let's see. Where did I put that spiked helmet?
Basement. Oh, hello, Mr. Phillips. I'm glad it's you. Listen, you didn't happen to find a German spiked helmet, did you? Mr. Bennington found it. Yes, sir, right away. He said we gotta get up there as soon as possible.
Yes, well, I half expected that, Jose. He probably wants to apologize to us.
He apologized to us?
Yes. We could have been seriously injured when he threw us out that door.
Right, he forgot to open it. Well, let's go.
Well, we still have a few minutes, Jose. Why don't we just clean up a little bit here first?
Okay. Listen, does this go back?
Yes, that goes back with the rest of the stuff.
Mr. Glade, what is nitrous oxide?
You mean to tell me, Jose, that you don't know what nitrous oxide is?
I don't know what...
Why, any child knows what nitrous oxide is.
Would you tell me?
Well, of course. It's oxide that's been nitrosed. Well, you see, you just turn this little valve here, and the ox comes out and mixes with the eye. This darn thing is stuck.
That might be dangerous. We might get nitro.
Don't be silly, Jose. It's perfectly harmless.
Mr. Glick, what are you laughing at?
I don't know. I must have thought of something funny. I tell you what, Jose, we better get this thing and bring it over here so that the fumes can go up the ventilating system. Grab a hold of it and bring it right over there. And hurry up, because we haven't got too much time.
I have no idea.
Well, I guess we better leave everything as it is and get up and see Mr. Phillips.
Okay.
Come on.
Come in.
You wanted to see us, Mr. Phillips?
Indeed, I did.
Mr. Phillips, before you say anything, I'd like to say something. I'd like to thank you for being so generous.
Before you thank me, I suggest you hear what I have to say. You two are the most incorrigible, irresponsible featherbrains I have ever encountered, and it gives me a great deal of pleasure to dismiss you. As of this moment, you're both through, sacked, discharged.
Just what are you getting at, Mr. Phillips?
Get out! I never want to see your faces around this hotel again.
That's what he's getting at.
Oh, wait a minute, Jose. Now, just a minute, Mr. Phillips. If you want to fire me, okay, go ahead. But I think you're being very unfair to Jose. He had absolutely nothing to do with this. It's entirely my responsibility.
No, that's not true, Mr. Glick. It's just not fair. After all, I was the one that pushed the smoke part in and made the fire. Come on.
Wait a minute, Jose. I was the one that sprayed Mr. Bennington with the fire extinguisher.
But I put the handcuffs on him.
I inflated the life raft.
A very touching scene. But to no avail. I shudder when I think what you did to Mr. Bennington. A man in his position, completely covered from head to foot with thermite, was... Funniest thing I've ever seen.
Like a snowman. You think that was funny, Mr. Phillips?
Yes, Mr. Glick.
It was my idea about the fire extinguisher.
Oh, Mr. Glick, you're a card.
How about that smoke pot?
Hilarious, Jose.
My idea.
The life raft gag was mine.
The handcuffs was mine.
You two boys are an absolute joy.
Then we're not fired?
Fired? Why would I fire my two most fun-loving employees? On the contrary, I'm giving you a raise.
That's awfully sweet of you, Chief.
My pleasure, gentlemen.
We better get right back to work.
Nonsense. Take the day off. Enjoy yourselves. Have a ball. Thank you very much, my boys. Come along. Have a good time. There go two wonderful lads. It did my heart good to give them a raise. They deserve a raise. Why did I do that? I was just going to fire them. I think I'm losing my mind. Miss Rosen, stop the innocent lick and send them back in here.
Want to see us fun-loving, boss?
We've got some great gags we haven't even used yet, Mr. Phillips. I fought up a bit with the flamethrower. He's not laughing, Jose.
Watch me try. Now, fellas, how about that smoke pot? And the handcuffs? How about when the phone line went all over Mr. Bennington and made him look like a snowman? Ho, ho, ho.
Try the life raft.
How about that life raft? You're right, he's not laughing.
No, he's not laughing. I don't know what kind of black magic you two worked on me, but it didn't succeed. You're fired, do you hear? Fired!
Does this kill it for the raise?
confusing. First you fire us, then you hire us, then you give us a raise, and then you fire us again. How can we work under these conditions?
I will simplify it for you. And this time I'll make it official. Your pink slips, gentlemen, take them to the cashier and tell her... You're the nicest chap I've ever known.
Happy days are here again.
Pink slips. I wouldn't dream of discharging you.
And how about the raise?
I'm doubling your raise.
Doubling your... Pink slips, no, and doubling raise, yes.
Yes, run along, boys, and have a good time.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phillips.
My pleasure.
A million kisses.
Mr. Bennington.
The two men have just been fired. They seem awfully happy.
It must be the raise I just gave them.
Raise? After what they did to us?
That was fun, wasn't it?
Phillips, you have flipped your lid. Well, I'll take care of this myself. I'll fire them.
Just a moment, Mr. Bennington. These two boys are two of the most incompetent, impossible misfits I've ever encountered.
Well, then why did you give them a raise?
Did I do that again?
Again? Phillips, what is wrong with you?
Well, you see, sir, I fired them, and then I gave them a raise. But I fired them again before I doubled the raise.
Oh, Phillips, I'm afraid this job is getting too much for you. You're cracking under the strain. I'm going to have to replace you. Get me Swanson.
Oh, Mr. Bennington, you can't mean that. After all of my years of service to this hotel, you wouldn't discharge me over one irrational act?
Oh, I'm sorry, Phillips.
Oh, please, Mr. Bennington, I can explain. Things will be different, I promise you.
Phillips! You are wasting your breath. There's one thing we cannot stand in this organization, and that is a blundering, indecisive executive. We insist upon clear thinking and a mind... Ah, Swanson.
Please.
I am sorry, Phillips. This is Bennington. I am calling about Phillips at the Park Central. We're going to have to give him We're going to have to give him a raise. Yeah, that's right. A raise. Yeah, double his salary. Oh, he's the greatest.
Whatever I have must be contagious. You did say raise?
Well, naturally. How else can I show my appreciation for your unusual executive ability?
And you're not angry that I didn't fire him, innocent did?
Oh, certainly not. Those boys are a barrel of laughs.
I don't either, Jose, but I'm not even going to try. What are you guys doing here?
We got orders to take this stuff back.
Oh, that? Well, forget that. Things have changed since that call. Leave everything just where it is. All right. Wait a minute. Better take these hand grenades. They're duds.
Listen, and you better take that tank of the gas because that's a dub also.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. We can't take that tank. Somebody opened the valve and half the gas is missing.
Oh. Well, in that case, just leave it here with the rest of the stuff.
All right, but I still don't understand what you guys are doing with laughing gas.
Well, that's what that is, laughing gas.
Yeah, nitrous oxide, laughing gas.
Laughing.
So that's why Phillips is so happy.
It's a glitch. What are we going to do when we run out of gas?
There's only one thing we can do, Jose.
What's that?
Send everything back, except one rifle and 2 bullets.
One rifle and 2 bullets?
Phillips will never take us alive.